What y'all think about the fight so far, man? It's been pretty badass.
They've been pretty good, man.
This has been my first time fucking, like, actually watching any big event as a fan. Like, I fought 9 times in the UFC and never went to one event as a fan. Not one.
Guys, welcome back. If you're just now joining us, we're here at BKFC number 6 in our own little makeshift press box, so to speak. We're here with Shorty Torres, and we have Jason Knight, the guy who fought Artem Lobov in the last BKFC. And what an awesome fight that was, Jason. We're here watching the co-main event, Dakota Cochrane versus Chris Leben. You know, Dakota Cochrane, he took this fight on last-minute notice, I think about 8 days. It was originally supposed to be Brennan Ward. He's from Bellator. And this guy, oddly enough, true story,
he knocked out Johnny fucking Hendricks.
Yeah, he actually filled in for Brennan Ward on that fight last minute, and he knocked out Johnny Hendricks back in November.
I'm telling you now, fucking Chris Leben's tough. Don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of his success in bare knuckles so far is intimidation. The last guy he fought was not even ready for the fight. The guy looked like he was scared of him or something.
Chris Leben's a scary, scary guy. But if you got, again, you know, his opponent just doing all these crazy things and not afraid to fight Chris Leben on a last-minute notice, he has nothing to lose.
I like Leben. Don't get me wrong. I love to see Leben win, but I like to see somebody else dethrone him. I mean, everybody thinks that Leben's somebody. I like to see somebody knock him out.
You know, Leben's known to be, at least right now, he's past his prime. You saw him fighting the UFC. He's one of those guys that gets hit, and actually the more hurt he gets, the harder he's hitting back.
It's almost like he gets tougher the more he gets hit.
For sure. I mean,
somehow, some way.
He's one of those guys. I mean, fucking, you hit us, and it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? That's what tells us, hey, it's time to fight.
Well, Jason, you can attest to kind of that toughness. You know, and we were talking about it last night. What does it take, man, to be in there, get punched in the face, bare knuckle, and just keep coming forward?
It's something you were born with. It's not something you can learn. It's not something you can teach. None of that shit. It's either you have it or you don't. And I mean, we're seeing a lot less of it nowadays. You know, you're seeing a whole lot of people trying to play it safe and fight to win, not fight to not lose. Like every fight that I fight, I try to make sure that guy right there is fucking getting his ass whooped. You know, I try to make sure I inflict as much damage as possible every single fight, and those guys are dying out, man.
Yeah, and fighting's entertainment. We are entertainers. If we go in there just trying to win, but enough to win, not enough to get the knockout or in a sense be fan entertaining, when we lose, no one's going to care for us. Again, if we lose, we want to be able to go, hey, people want to see us back in the cage, in the ring, because they know we put on one hell of a show.
Dude, if I want to lose, I want it to be a fucking spectacular loss.
That's the way it goes. Hell, I'd rather be a highlight reel knockout knowing I gave it my all than lose in a really boring fight.
Exactly.
No, 100%. I think, you know, the fan base and, feels kind of the same way. This round was a little odd. It looks like they both tried to initiate their game plan, but it kind of went to a kind of stalemate. I'm not sure who I give that round to.
They tried to slug it out, but it ended up being, I guess what we were talking about earlier, more of a clinch contest.
More of a hug fest. It damn sure didn't look like Chris Leben's last fight.
Yeah, but that's what happens. You got two slug guys just going back and forth. Sometimes they're a little intimidated, so they're going to clinch a little more, play it safe. But again, you have 4 more rounds to go. Maybe one of them will get comfortable and start opening up a little more.
What was that, Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis? Was that the fight that was so fucking good?
Yeah, well, it was Derek Lewis's back hurt, and Ngannou was nervous.
Prime example. They was both scared to death that the other guy might possibly knock them out. So they're fucking going to fight boring. So I'm hoping that that's not what we're seeing.
Well, the complete opposite of today, the Korean Zombie knocking out Moicano in, I believe, 50 seconds of the very first round.
We had a couple good little knockouts so far. I mean, Bare Knuckle's presenting a pretty good little show tonight.
And they've had some back and forth fights. Even though some of these fights gone the distance, like this last one that happened, there was 2 drops in that fight, and that's what swayed the judges the entire time.
Yeah, man, if you watch that last fucking fight, Reggie, I don't care what nobody says, Reggie was not Reggie. Reggie was not having fun. Reggie, he let that fucking belt get to his head. He let the pressure get to his head, and he went out there and he fought fucking Johnny Bedford's fight. Johnny Bedford come out there. He knew what he had to do, and he executed it fucking awesome.
Do you think the bad blood between them, because they both talked a lot of shit. Johnny Bedford had a lot to say before the fight. You think that's something that maybe played into the mindset of Reggie, maybe why he wasn't himself?
Oh, for sure, man. I'm telling you now, Reggie was not Reggie tonight. He did not look nowhere near as good and crisp as he normally does. He wasn't moving like he was supposed to, and fucking he kept letting Johnny draw him into that fucking brawl. But you're not a brawler, dude. Why are you trying to brawl with a guy who is a brawler? You know what I'm saying? Johnny Bedford is 10 times tougher than Reggie Barnett ever thought about being. You can't beat that man in a toughness game, and that's what he tried to do.
Going into somebody else's game is probably the worst idea to ever do. 60 restraints, employ that, and keep on working your game. But you see this fight, these guys are actually going back and forth, landing significant strikes, just literally trading. All right, you go. All right, my turn. All right, you go. All right, my turn.
Yeah, they're kind of taking turns just rushing each other. They, Leben will give a flurry, Cochrane will give a flurry. Leben will give a flurry, Cochrane will give a flurry.
Yeah, I mean, second round looks a little bit less huggy.
Yeah, definitely less of a clinch game, and these guys are now more dirty boxing, entering with the big, straight overhand rights, entering the clinch, and just collar tying and throwing that right hand uppercut constantly.
Is this the problem with, I don't want to say problem, but, when you have two guys who are just, they're heavy hitters, they're brawlers, and they both run out of steam, what kind of fight does that make it? Because 9 times out of 10, when that kind of happens and both guys run out of steam, it kind of turns the fans off a little bit. It's just clinching, and they kind of lay on each other to catch a breath.
If they both run out of steam, you're going to see one of two things. Either you're going to see them fucking try to lay on each other and barely throw anything, or you're going to see them throw nothing but power shots because they think that they have to knock the guy out because they're so tired. And then fucking it looks even more sloppy, even worse, because when you're trying to throw nothing but power shots, when you're already tired, you make yourself even more tired.
And sometimes it makes it more entertaining, too.
Yeah, I was about to say, exactly. Sometimes they might get lucky, get that big knockout, but sometimes they just look like a fucking retard throwing big windmill punches,
Yeah, and they're throwing the punches wrong. Instead of hitting them with the knuckle, they're just slapping the shit out of each other.
Exactly.
It's kind of similar to last fight, Shorty, we really couldn't pick the 4th and 5th round winners. I don't know who I have right now. I don't know who I have winning, to be honest with you.
I'm more entertained with the show because these guys are landing back and forth.
I was about to say, it's actually turning out to be a damn good fight. I mean, it's fucking, I hit you, you hit me. It's not none of this one-sided shit.
And this fight is pretty much on the ropes the whole time. It starts in the middle, then one person rushes forward, gets to the fence. They break up, other person rushes forward, then they get to the fence, break up, and it keeps on repeating back and forth. This is literally going left and right, left and right, left and right.
100%. At what point, though, do one of these guys get tired?
Oh, I think they're both tired already.
Whenever you got fucking hard, it does not matter how tired you get. It does not matter at all. You're gonna keep going. And I'm gonna tell you now, I don't know about the guy that he's fighting, but I'm gonna tell you right now, the crippler has heart. The crippler is not gonna stop. Chris Leben will never stop. It doesn't matter how fucking tired he gets. He's gonna keep coming.
I think the biggest example is that when he's fought Terry Martin. Getting beat up most of the fight, taking some really good shots, giving some back, but then he almost gets dropped and knocks out Terry Martin in the final seconds of the fight. Yeah. And he knocks him out clean. Again, Chris Leben is one of those guys, he might be exhausted. Even when he fought Anderson Silva, didn't matter how much he got dominated, he still kept on trying to push forward.
I mean, he's one of those guys that fucking, there's no quit there. It's just not in his DNA to quit. He's going to keep coming. And, I mean, like, if you watch his UFC career, a lot of his fights were like that, man. I mean, I've seen Chris Leben down and out a lot of fucking times and then come back just because he would never quit. And, I mean, fucking, I feel like that was kind of the demise of his career is because he's just so fucking tough.
Sometimes too tough for your own good.
Exactly. I'm one of them guys.
Yeah, your pride can either make you or break you, and sometimes more than none, it actually breaks you. But for Chris Leben, that defines who he is. And we see in this fight, he takes a shot, he gives a shot. He takes a shot, he gives a shot. His pride might be taking those blows, but his prides are giving them back as well.
100%. You know what? And I think I actually I think I give Chris Leben that third round. It seemed like he landed a little more than Cochrane did and maybe landed the heavier shots.
Yeah, I would say right now, in my opinion, I think Chris Leben has 1 and 3, and I believe Cochrane's probably got 2. But you never know, man. It's actually been a pretty close fight. It's going to be a hard one to judge for sure. It's kind of a fun fight, but not quite the entertainment I wanted. I wanted to see somebody go to sleep, and it's not quite looking like that's going to happen, you know.
Yeah, but with 2 more rounds, again, bare knuckle fighting championships, 1 punch can change, if not end the whole contest.
You never know.
You already know from fighting in this, those punches hurt. It's much different from getting hit with MMA gloves. 4 ounces to nothing whatsoever is a big difference.
Yeah, man. The biggest difference for me was, you know, every time I got hit, it's like I knew that a new cut popped up. It was like, fuck, okay, there's it. There, now my lip's bleeding. Okay, shit, now my chin's bleeding.
I didn't know that could bleed. You know,
Exactly.
you guys look like Chucky dolls after, man. You guys had stitches all over, and it was legendary. It is a legendary photo that defines this type of promotion. To know that even though it's 10 minutes, you're possibly taking the most damage you've taken in your entire career in 1 fight.
Man, what's crazy though, it looked that way. It appeared that I took the most damage I've ever took. And don't get me wrong, yes I did. I took more cuts. I took more superficial damage than I've ever taken. But I never once had an elbow hurt, or my neck didn't hurt, my knee didn't hurt, my hip didn't hurt, my back never hurt. Fucking nothing hurt except for, you know, the inside of my mouth where the stitches were healing. But you know, bare knuckle is not as brutal as everybody thinks. I mean, fucking right, we're gonna bleed. We're hitting each other with bare knuckles. We're hitting each other with bones. But as long as you look past that, it's not that brutal.
You know, for me, because I did break my hand, so more of a question. I broke my hand at MMA. How did your hands feel after the 10 minutes?
It wasn't after the 10 minutes. It was like fucking an hour or so after the fight. Once my adrenaline finally went away, that right hand, it was fucked. But I mean, I broke it so many times that it's not that big a deal. But what's crazy, dude, my hand was swole up twice the size as it has ever been. You know, bigger than it's ever been. I go to the doctor, no broken bones. It's fucking crazy.
Just excessive use.
Yeah, I thought for sure that bitch was broke, but I mean, it just had a lot of juice in there.
Here's a question for you. It's the co-main event right before Malignaggi versus Lobov. I guess how are you feeling right before the fight started when you fought Lobov? What do you think the nerves are for Malignaggi since he's never done it before?
I'm gonna tell you now, Malignaggi, he's nervous as can be. I mean, there's no fucking pressure on Artem Lobov whatsoever. If he gets beat by Paulie, the world expected him to get beat by Paulie. If Paulie gets beat, you know, the whole boxing world looks like shit. Everybody expected Paulie to fucking go out here and dominate Artem, and fucking if he doesn't do that, then it makes Paulie's whole career look like fucking shit.
Damn, he's spitting fire. He's spitting the truth because it's honest. If you're the underdog, you have nothing to lose. Might as well go out, go to brawl. Hell, you're probably going to still be called the GOAT anyways if you're Artem Lobov. But the thing is, Paulie, he's been retired for a couple years. Yeah, he's fought some legends. Is he technically the better boxer? Yes. But this is a whole different system. The Philly shell does not work here. You are going to get hit. And how many hits can you take against Artem Lobov, who's going to work a clinch game, who's going to press forward and keep on pushing the pace?
My thing is, who's the more hungry fighter? Who wants this worse? You know what I'm saying? Artem Lobov, I'm telling you right now, this man's in his prime. He wants this more than anything that he's ever wanted in his life. He has finally fucking got some spotlight. The whole time in the UFC, he was a mediocre fighter who never got the exposure that he really wanted. He has that fucking exposure, and there's no reason in this world that he wants to lose it. And he's damn sure not fisting to fucking go in there and play it safe with Paulie. He's gonna fight his fucking ass off. He's gonna give it everything that he has, and I guarantee you, no matter what, Artem Lobov is gonna leave every fucking thing inside that squared circle tonight. Is Paulie gonna do that? That's the question. Is Paulie gonna go out there and put his fucking heart on the line? is Paulie even fucking ready for that? This man hasn't fought in 10 fucking years. He's been retired for a decade. He's 10 years past his fucking prime. Artem is just now getting there.
And from boxing, after being retired for 10 plus years, how do you come back and do bare knuckle compared to fighting with 10 or 8 ounce gloves? Yeah, you are already a multi-millionaire coming in here against Artem Lobov, who is now officially a star, like Jason Knight's saying. This guy doesn't want to lose his hype, and he is an underdog, but he's finally finding his home here in this promotion. He's finally finding his fighting style that he works with best. He wasn't the best MMA fighter, but he's a damn good bare knuckle boxer.
But the question is, all right, did Paulie spend 10 years of his life getting better? Or did he spend 10 years of his life sitting on the fucking couch, partying it up, and spending all that fucking money that he made? My bet is that he didn't spend 10 years in the fucking gym. I'm going to tell you right now, if I thought that I was retiring, if I made $1 million fucking, I'm telling you right now, give me $1 million. $1 million. I'm going to fucking figure out something to invest in so that way I never have to fight again. I never have to work again. Paulie should have done that, but he didn't. I guarantee you he spent the last 10 years blowing that fucking money, getting fucked up, and having a blast. And now he needs some money, so he's coming to fight. That's the only reason Paulie's here.
He had to come back for a reason.
That's the only fucking reason Paulie's here. He doesn't give a damn if he makes a legacy in BKFC. He made his legacy in boxing. He was a champ already. This isn't important to him. This is just another fight, another paycheck. This is Artem's fucking life. This is everything to him. This is everything. This is fucking a secure future for his children, and Paulie Malignaggi's standing in the way of that. He's fixing to give this motherfucker hell, and you can believe that.
No, 100%. Back to the this fight right here, Leben versus Cochrane. Again, it seemed like 5 rounds of all the same. It seemed like it was just back and forth. One of them threw a couple shots, the other threw a couple shots, and just back and forth it goes. I'm really not too sure how to judge this. I think, Jason, you were saying earlier that... Okay.
Yeah, but they called another fight earlier a draw that I thought for sure one guy had won. This fight right here, I have no fucking clue. So if they don't call this a draw, then something's wrong.
Jason, looks like you're being called upon. Looks like the guys want you ringside. But, Jason, we appreciate you so much for taking the time, man. It was an absolute pleasure, all right?
Absolutely, man.
I'll get up with you later, man.
Shorty Torres, it was so nice to meet you, brother. So nice to meet you.
Same, man.
Big
Thank
fan,
you.
man. Big fan.
Thank you.
Have a good one, bro.
Appreciate it, man. Have fun.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Go ahead, go.
Welcome to the after party. Where's it at? Coyote Ugly.
All right, I'll be there.
Antonio Torres was hosting the after party. We're going to get fucked up.
Oh, I got you.
I missed that.
And we see that Chris Leben actually lost this fight. This fight was going back and forth, but we saw his opponent did his thing. He did enough to get the win in the judge's eyes.
Yeah, again, it sounded like a broken record. That was a tough fight to call.
Yeah.
It was back and forth. I thought maybe Leben did enough to win the first and third round. Okay, Cochrane, second round, fourth and fifth. I really don't know. It just seemed like they were kind of just, again, clinching each other, laying against the ropes, back and forth. Really seemed a lot of the same thing. And maybe that's kind of the thing you get when it comes, both guys are literally doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Guys, that's it for this video. Once again, sync this up with the commentary for the BKFC 6 card. I think you'll enjoy our commentary. Well, no, not to take away from Sean Wheelock and the Magic Man, but our
Jason Knight is hilarious.
Yes, yes, he is. It's definitely an interesting take on it. That's it for this video. Stay tuned for the main event.